Hey everyone, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you. Now, if you haven't seen my review of the i5 13600K and the 13900K, they're live on the channel and on the website already. Now you can like, subscribe, comment and do all of that sort of stuff if you should wish. But today I have tested both DDR4 and DDR5 with both CPUs. So I've put the i5 and the i9 in the DDR4 board and done a full suite of tests on that. And then I put the i9 and the i5 in a DDR5 board and done a full suite on that. Now we've dropped it into our normal Z790 test rig with the RTX 2080 Ti and the H170 and the RX. Basically it all just went in there. We just changed the boards, and the difference was we've got G.Skill Royal 4000 megahertz memory here, so it's nice low latency stuff, good quality DDR4, but you can get quite a lot of kits like that now. And then the other kit that we had was G.Skill Trident Z5. This is 6000 megahertz, and I can bring you up the timings and stuff now for you to have a look at. Now, I genuinely thought, because I've done tests like this before, I genuinely thought we were going to have some nice meaty numbers. And I'll be honest with you, I thought, this is not me saying what happened, I thought production or creator content, that sort of stuff, so content creation would have gone to DDR5 and maybe the i9. And I would have put my money on gaming and the i5 being a match made in heaven. But I'm going to bring the results up for you now because I can confirm this review was a complete and utter waste of my time, because there really isn't a great deal between them. Some results, DDR4 is quicker in gaming. Some results, weirdly, DDR5's quicker in gaming. Some content creation stuff nips ahead with the i9. Some content creation stuff looks better with DDR5 and the i5. There was literally no pattern to any of it in reality. So maybe what this means is, obviously Intel have made changes with the memory controller and stuff on the 13th generation processors, because they can obviously XMP much higher memory now, and maybe like loads of the subtimings have just been tightened and they've optimized them, because there just doesn't seem to be a huge difference between the two. If you do a very, very memory specific test, which is going to be looking at bandwidth and throughput, then you'll clearly get a win with the DDR5. But if you're looking at latency, then you will get a win on the DDR4. But with the tests that we've done in both gaming and content creation productivity results, there just wasn't a clear winner for me to be able to turn around to you and say this one does this and this one's better for that. So I'm really annoyed because I wanted to have better news for you, but right now the only thing that I can say in reality is there hasn't really been a performance drop off to go i5, but at the same time there's not really been a performance increase to go DDR5. Now I do know these boards aren't exactly the same, because we've got the Z790 Prime A here, which is the DDR5 board, and then we've got the Strix A D4 here, which is the DDR4 board. Now when I looked around the prices for this, you can get a Strix A, you can get a Strix A like DDR5 model, and there was about £70 saving to stick with the D4. So although there's not any performance difference, what I'm starting to think is, if you are looking to save money, DDR5 prices have started to come down. That is something I do need to say. But if you're looking to save money, we do know that DDR4 is still cheaper. Maybe not as much as it was, but it is still cheaper. But most importantly, if the DDR4 motherboards are cheaper, and you're already thinking about going i5 anyway, then kind of what I've said at the beginning is kind of where I'm leaning to, with someone that's on a budget, wants to jump into kind of new tech, 13th gen, decent CPU, is just going to be gaming. But then if you have a larger budget, you're going to get a better motherboard, you're going to get a better graphics card, you're going to be buying some crazy M.2 goodness to be going on, then maybe that you are going to end up this way. One of the things I would say is I still don't think we've seen the best of DDR5 yet. And I don't necessarily think that the best of DDR5 is going to be 7,000 megahertz kits. I think the sweet spot for DDR5 is going to be 5600 megahertz or 6000 megahertz kits, but with tighter timings. So at least the DDR5 route is going to be slightly more future-proof. And if you're already stomping out for an i9 and maybe a 4090 or a 4080 when they come out, maybe that's the route you want to go. But if you are looking to save money with the i5, just gaming, maybe get some 3600 megahertz tight CAS memory going on in there, and you want to save yourself a few quid, then maybe the cheaper boards are the way to go, because the DDR5 and the PCI Express 5 boards are more expensive to produce because they need to have better signal paths, and they've normally got more layers and more copper going on with them. And the further up the range that you get, that's why the boards are getting thicker and there's lots more layers, because they are just engineered better. And that's also why they can save a little bit more money on the lower end DDR4 PCI Express 4 stuff. So there's some ideas for you, but at least you know if you go from one to the other, there's no real performance gain, there's no real performance benefit. So you've literally just got saving money, future-proofing, and that's it. I've done the testing, that was a complete waste of time, but at least now you've got the data to go and make your choices based on the requirements that you have for your gaming or productivity system at home. Yeah, wish I hadn't spent 4 days doing this now. Donny Tom Logan, out. Love you, sis.